Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. FOREX goal, make $1 million. That's what I want to chat with you about today. It's the videos brought on by the a previous video that I released. FOREX goal, replace the light bill or your job income. And in that video, I was simply discussing the difference in the approach to how you would trade if all you were doing was trying to replace money to pay your light bill or your food bill for the month or whatever that was, or to add an extra $1,000 a month onto your income or $800 a month onto your income to supplement some retirement income that you had, or just as an addition to your current job income. And then compare that with some of the concepts behind what you would have to do in order to actually replace your job income, or at least significantly enhance the amount of money as a percentage of that income. In other words, if you were making $60,000 a year and you added another $10,000 or $20,000 onto that, that would significantly increase that job income, because your boss isn't going to give that to you. So that was the thrust of that last video, where the FOREX goal was to replace the light bill, or the goal was to do job income. And in that video, I also mentioned the third thing, which was to make $1 million, which was to, as I've said many times, when you go for the big runs, you shoot the potatoes, which is a saying that an old friend of mine, 40 years ago, used to tell me when we were playing chess together. He was an older, much more experienced chess player, and we'd get together, and when he thought he had me by the nuts, he'd go, "It's time to shoot the potatoes," and after me he'd come. So anyway, this video is about shooting the potatoes and what I'm working on in order to make $1 million from my currency trading, to as kind of a goal to duplicate the $1 million that I made investing in real estate, and was able to retire with that. So this isn't really making $1 million because I'm trying to prove anything to anybody. It's my own quest to see if the rules that I was successful with in real estate are transferable into the currency market and to any other market that you probably want to do. Because rules for compounding investments and making money and all that other stuff should be consistent across financial vehicle boundaries. So as you can see, it's an early December 2022, and we have, if I can pull the thing up here, we have a lot of rain. I don't want to go out because I've been out collecting up the dog and getting soaked with that. All the traffic you hear going by. We have a couple of Christmas tree farms down the road from us, and so it's Saturday that I'm recording this, and everybody is shooting off to buy Christmas trees. There's some places that are running out because the big day for folks going out in the United States, if you're not from here, is the day after Thanksgiving, is a big shopping day, and get your Christmas tree and all that other sort of stuff. So, and in fact, we didn't go out until this week on a Friday to a friend's farm that's down the road from us, and so we bought our tree and just to get it, make sure we were able to get it. It was actually a cut your own, so we had fun doing that. But I'm not going to stand out here and do this video how to be a millionaire standing in the rain, because it's cold. And the Bo dog, who was out with me, Bo, say hi to your fans. We're going to go in and do this from inside, because I got a cup of coffee that just brewed up, and let's go do that. It's a lot nicer in here than outside. So that previous video has stirred up quite a bit of email traffic to me, and I want to thank all of you who did email asking me, because the $1 million goal wasn't really the focus of the last video. I just happened to mention it as one of the 3 potential goals that you could have in your currency trading. You could just trade in order to pay your light bill or augment your income, or you could consciously strive to develop a cash flow from your trading that would replace your job income. And then I sort of casually tacked on, or you can trade to be a millionaire. Well, that's what you see all the Lambo crowd, the fools talking about, the millions of dollars that they have. Unfortunately, the Forex educational market, advertising market, is incredibly rife with falsehoods and lies. I don't want to charge anybody a lot of money, but if you want to learn it the way that I present it, then you're going to have to pay me a lot of money, probably more than most folks out there. But I provide value for that. If you want to replace your job income, well, let's invest some money so I can show you how to do that. You know, coming into 2022, I didn't trade for the first 2 months because I had a carry trade from the previous year, and when I closed that trade in March, that was on a 3-lot position. I made, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 from that, and that was wiped out by the carry interest that went against me. But that's okay. As I was on my way, and then I started trading 3 to 6 lots, and as I said many times before, 6 to 8, and it's going on to the point where I'm up trading 15 to 25 lots per position. I got around the 5-lot, 8-lot position balance, and I said, well, this is great. This is relatively simple if you follow your rules. I've only had, again, this is December of, early December of 2022. I've been trading, actively making trades since March. So from March to December, I've made 91% against closed trades against risk. And so I've done really well with that. But I'm looking at when I got to about that 5 full lot, 8 full lot position level, I started to expand and push the boundaries so that I was making, I mean, my average per closed position day was about $1,500 a day, $1,400 a day. But that was only the case when I was getting up in that 12, 15 lot type position. So if you take the 12 lots, that's $120,000 in my way. So you divide the daily gain at 12 or $1,400 by the 120,000, and that's where I come up with my about a 1%, 1.25% gain. And I said, well, this is interesting, but I'm pushing just a little bit hard here. Let me tweak this and try some stuff. And I got caught in a position that hasn't closed yet, and I'm significantly underwater on that because I did make some assumptions that were not supportable in the overall methodology that I had determined around that 5 to 8 lot level trading, that, gee, I've got this. I understand this. I understand I'm going to take some losses because I've only taken 3 closed losses. I have a running loss right now, but not a closed loss. But of closed positions where I've lost money, I've only had 3 positions that I've lost money on for a total of about $10,000 this year. The first one was about $1,500 or $1,200. The second one was a $4,000 loss, and then I picked up another $4,000 loss. I think it was last month or something. So I said I can withstand higher loss levels in order to increase the targets that I'm striving for. In other words, I kind of started to go for more pips, and I think that's that's where I got into my problem that I'm in right now with the significant loss. And I could lose a third of my account And that would be a tough hit. I'm not sure I need to take a tough hit like that again in order to understand where I went wrong. But the purpose of the video is to say, when you're trading to replace your job income, you are doing things a little differently. The strategies are the same, but the tactics differ a little bit, okay? And so, so too do those tactics differ when you go for shooting the potatoes, trying to get $1 million. Now, if you're at 200 to 1, it becomes a little bit easier, except you really have to be really, really, really good or really, really lucky, because at 200 to 1, you're going to kill your accounts really quick. I mean, it just takes a little fart and you're gone. If you watch Tom Howard's videos, he trades massive risk, staging positions in, and he doesn't get out when they go against him. He'll just lose the account because he knows his win-to-loss ratio is good with a significant average win value, and so when he wins, he may blow an account. He may lose a $30,000 account just like that. That shit through a goose. But when he hits a big one, it's a 5-banger, it's a 10-banger, it's a $300,000 win. That makes up for a lot of $30,000 losses. So he's got that down in his methodology, and I've sort of tried to do that. And the computer program that I'm working on right now, that I've finished and can actually calculate the proper way to stage in. I didn't have that available a couple of months ago, and that's where I made my error. And I think he could save himself a lot of money and a lot of grief by taking a closer look at how he is adding his lots on. Regardless of that, when you have a large account, it becomes easier to replace job income and make a little bit more as you go through, if your goal isn't any higher than replacing that job income. Once you replace the job income, you remain at that level of work, adding a little bit more money to your account, either through account appreciation, because you've got to make a little bit more money than job replacement income, pay your taxes, and then have a little bit left over to add back into the account, so that if you're trying to replace a $40,000 income, you're really trying to make a $50,000 gain, because you can pay taxes, and then you got to add a little bit more back into that account so that you can compound that stuff. You don't compound your account when you're trying to pay your light bill. When you start at job replacement income, that's the time when you're going to start working on techniques of compounding. Regardless of that, when you are striving to make $1 million from your trading, the philosophy of the trade becomes totally different. Your view of risk management totally changes. And you better have some really good numbers and a lot of experience to back you up. When I was in real estate, I lost, I've told you before, over my 40-year career of investing in real estate, I lost $1 million twice during that period of time due to economic conditions and collapses. I was able to make that money back each time, but it took me 10 years each time to do that. In the currency markets, you could lose your whole net worth in one trade if you're not careful. And particularly if you're at a $20,000 or $30,000 account level and you decide all of a sudden you're going to try to make $1 million or replace your job income right away, and you start pushing the envelope on that and trading these exotic ways that you need to trade, and you're not psychologically prepared for it, and you don't have the correct philosophical approach on what you're doing squared away, or the strategical changes that you need to make in your thinking in order that the tactics will jive with that strategy change in order to do that. So I get a lot of blowback from emails folks had sent in regard to that casual mention that I made. Oh, and by the way, you can also trade to make $1 million. And so the questions that are coming at me now are, well, is that what you're doing? Why are you doing this? And blah, 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 and prove it and all that stuff. Some of you are saying prove it. Right? Most of you have been very gracious and saying, what the hell are you talking about? That's what I want to do. Well, if you want to do that, you're going to need low to mid six-figure account in order to even consider that. Oh, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to make $1 million starting with 50,000? It's a whole different thing. You're not going to take your 2-year-old Subaru and crank that up so that you can stock car race with it. You got to start with a real car that can be designed for that, or drag racing or something. You know, and you can't say, oh well, I don't have enough money on it, so I'm going to take my Subaru and I'm going to run that in the thing, and I'm just going to work on that engine, and what you're going to do is you're going to push that car too hard and you're going to blow the engine. And so that's the situation that I stumbled into. I was successful with that transition. I started to make that transition from replacing job income to shooting for the $1 million when I started trading 10 lots, because I was following my plan and consistently adding to my bottom line every day, and that plan proved out all the way through until you know, I've made well over $100,000 this year so far by following that plan. However, in getting to the limits of where that strategy really needs to be foundation in some different kinds of rules, I kind of slipped up on the timing. Again, it all has to do with when you do something. And so when I did it was my error. I made that mistake several times along the way, but the when part, I knew what would happen, or I don't know what would happen. From a probabilistic standpoint of looking at the market, I said that price should ultimately do this. That's what it should do. And the probability of that happening was very high. Price went against me, it didn't go there. I waited. When it started to go in my direction, I backed the truck up and loaded more money in, boom, closed the trade, and that's where a lot of that money came from. So when you start trying to do that, trading 20 lots, you can get in a lot of trouble because the value of the losses increases dramatically from the 8 lot standpoint when you lose. And although I'm pretty risk knowledgeable, making a couple of trades where the intent was to really get a big return from that trade and not have that happen, you question that process. And when you do that, if you question yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. Look, I've been teaching martial arts for 50 years. I get this. You can't go into a fight situation and some guys are ready to throw on you, and you're going, in your back of your head, you're going, geez, this guy's pretty big. You can't. You're done. And so that's what happened to me in the trading. I lost sight of what that psychological element is. I mean, every time I talk psychology, people turn the videos off and they don't want to listen to it. But I'm telling you, when you get up and trade in 20 lots, you got a couple $100,000 on the line. You better be tight psychologically, you better be tight with what you're doing. And so trading for $1 million is different than replacing your job income. And you're not going to transition from replacing your job income to trading for $1 million unless you understand that process. And if you don't understand that process, you'll make the same errors that I'm making, except I have enough money to withstand them, and you may not. So you have to really consider that. But the same is true if you're going from learning how to trade in the initial stages. All you want to do is replace your light bill. That's the goal. Just replace the light bill. Learn how to do that. And then you can learn how to transition into trading more lots to replace your job income. So there's a transition that you need to go through first when you first sit down and you throw your first trade onto the table. How do you do that? That's a big transition in going from a demo account to, in theory, to actually putting your cash on the line. And starting with what Jesse Livermore says, invest your cash, track your results, and learn from your mistakes. That's what you do when you're starting out trading. And then once you get that squared away, and you get a good win-to-loss ratio, and your average win value is high, as long as you now know your per trade expectation value as well as the percent return against risk value, those 4 metrics, you need to know those 4 metrics, and then you can start trading a little bit larger account that will pay your light bill on a monthly basis. That same transition stuff goes for when you're going to change. Instead of paying for the light bill, you want to pay for the job. You want to replace that job income. And so there's a different psychology that you have to have, a different, an expanded strategy with different rules to fit that strategy. And then when you jump to saying you're going to trade for $1 million or $10 million or $500,000 or whatever it is, the big goal that you want to trade for. I've made $1 million. I've got over $1 million net worth. So I can have a goal of $1 million with confidence because I've made $1 million several times in my life. So I know that I can do it because I've done it. Folks that haven't done that, their knees shake and they get fearful and they start worrying about, I can't make $1 million. And so they don't even try to pay the light bill. And paying the light bill is stupid simple. And once you learn how to pay the light bill, you go, well, maybe I'll pay my mortgage. Maybe I could probably significantly impact my job income. And then once you do that, you have all that confidence, you go, well, why not? Let's go for the $1 million or whatever you're going to try to shoot for. Why not? And so the few of you who emailed me criticizing me for changing the way that I'm talking on the videos about how I trade versus how I would teach you to trade and what my expectations are you doing, screw you. You want to make $1 million? Put your freaking money on the line and make the $1 million and then come back and criticize me, okay? I know what I'm doing, and I'm trying to help you through these videos so that you don't have to pay me the exorbitant fees that you're going to bitch at me about, because I don't want you as a student. You know, I don't want any students. I don't need any students. I don't need the money. You know, there's some of these so-called traders out there that are making literally millions of dollars a year from their educational process and not from their trading. For those of you who have serious questions about the process of making the transition from looking for job income to trading for $1 million, what do you need? What do you need to do? What do you need to? How do you get there? Don't worry about it, because if you're asking those questions, you're not ready to worry about the consequences and the significance of the rules and the new risk management techniques that I would be happy to share with you if you were ready to do that. Concentrate on what you're capable of doing and what's easy for you to visualize as a successful thing to do. You know, if you're making $30,000 or $40,000 a year and you just paying the bills and getting by, and you've got a little bit of extra money that you could trade. You know, look, if you could trade a $10,000 account and end up at the end of the year making $1,000 off that $10,000, that's a 10% return on your money. Where are you going to get that? You know, if you're a pig and you're trying to make 20 pips a day or 10 pips a day, you're going to lose your money because you're not good enough to get 20 pips a day. If you practice, you will. You know, when you first jump in the pool to start swimming for a team and you hadn't trained for that, and they say, oh, okay, we're going to swim a mile today. You might not have swum a mile in your life, and yet here they are. Here, swim a mile. Well, you should have prepared yourself by swimming distance so that you could have the cardio to be able to swim the mile, so you could see where your technique breaks down and fix it. Why not do the same thing in trading? And so it's that same progression. Pay your light bill, replace your job income, shoot the potatoes. Go for it. Why not go for it? Why not try? The only reason, or the only way you're going to be able to justify shooting the potatoes and going for the $1 million is you've already made a significant amount of money. And if you're just careful, even if you lost half of that money that you've made, you've still made the other half. You're in fine shape. Isn't that going to give you a lot of confidence? And then if you lose that half, you'll go, this is what I did wrong. Don't do that again. And you'll make that 50% loss back. Again, if you lose 50% on your money, it takes 100% to make that 50% back. But if you're making 40% on your trades when you do it right, how long is it going to take you to make that money back? Not very long. That's what gives you the confidence. That's what gives these big traders confidence, because they can come back. If you're trading a 10 or a 20 or maybe even a $30,000 account, trading 1 to 3 lots, and you make a horrendous freaking error where you drop 25 or 30% on your money, you're not going to be able to make that back. You're not going to have the patience for it. Because the reason that you lost that money is because you have a lack of patience. You're trying to push the envelope too soon. So to try to make a 30% loss back, you're going to have to make probably 40% on that remaining money. Well, you crapped out at 30%. How are you going to make 40? Well, you could take it over 2 years. Oh, great. Do you have the patience to just get back to even in 2 years? So that's where you run into problems. And that's why so many people fail and they drop out of the currency market, because it's so easy to lose your money. Currency market can provide job replacement income, and it can provide you $1 million. Have I made $1 million trading currencies? Nope. I'm going to work on it. And you follow this channel, and we'll see how I go in getting there. I've already made $1 million in real estate, so nobody's going to be able to criticize me about I'm full of shit. Listen to what I have to say, and let's work together to help you get to the point where you could go for that $1 million goal. Peter Rose, Longwood Currency Trading. Have a great day, and have a great trading day.